Hello, I'm Luke Darcy. Welcome to the 2013 wash-up for the Hawthorn Football Club. Damo, the Hawks were the best team of the year and they richly deserved the premiership.
They did, Darcy. It was a reward for bouncing back and being able to hang in there after the turmoil of last year when they lost the grand final and everyone thought they were gone. They then went and got Brian Lake in the trade period and they then put together one of the great home and away seasons. Lost to just 2 clubs and in 3 games in total, twice to Geelong, then beat Geelong in the finals. It was a great reward for just hanging in there and being prepared to put themselves up into the big games yet again.
You mentioned Brian Lake, Damo. He's my season highlight for the Hawks. Great recruiting. They got him right. He dropped all the weight, 7 or 8 kilos, looked like a different player, a man who's capable of being an All-Australian, and then to go on and win the Norm Smith medal. And it was exactly what they needed. They were getting caught out without the big forwards cleaning up some of their inexperienced defenders, and he gave them that strength. Didn't have the greatest start to his time at Hawthorn, though. He turned up after a bit of an incident down Portsea Way over the summer. But Brian Lake, congratulations to you. I thought you were sensational and unbelievable. A Norm Smith medal winner.
It was. I'm going to go to the other end of the ground to highlight. My highlight is Jarryd Roughe, who just came to his own, didn't he? I mean, we knew he was able to kick lots of goals, did so in 2008, and then was really good this year. Gets a Coleman medal to his list of achievements on his CV and became the man, didn't he? It was also aided by Alistair Clarkson playing Buddy Franklin further up the ground, but this guy was there throughout the entirety of the home and away season. Was a little bit quiet in the finals, but still was good enough to kick 2 goals in that third quarter for the Hawks to win the grand final. So, yeah, great year overall for Roughe. What he might just want to do is get some real impact in finals, but that's being really critical of a guy who deserved great accolades this year.
Thought he had a really good grand final. He went in the midfield, had 20 possessions to go with those 2 goals. So well done to Roughe, superstar and a Coleman medal winner. Season low light time, Damo, and surprisingly, I'm going to mention Al Clarkson. Let's take a look at some of Clarko's work.
Thanks, guy. I wasn't.
That just makes me laugh so much. Matty Thompson copied a little spray on the way past. He cleaned up someone at the VFL who thought got in his way.
Including an 84-year-old trainer from the other side, does.
Someone in the
84 years old he took him.
Under 10s who got in his way. Clarko gave a spray. That's what you get. He's an angry little man, Clarko. You would love him to be in charge of your football clothes. He's that competitive, and if that's what you have to wear, bad luck. He's an unbelievable coach, Clarko, and you get that incredible competitive edge all the time. Sometimes it spills over, Damo, but bad luck.
You love it, though, don't you?
It's great.
Yeah. This is how well this club's gone. You've chosen Alistair Clarkson as a low light. I'm choosing Buddy Franklin as a low light, just because all the talk about the contract saga does. He actually dealt with it pretty well. He'll have a final chapter played out in the next couple of days when he says most likely he's out of there, but it dragged on all year, Darcy, and it was probably just a bit of a situation that they could have done without.
Who deserves a Christmas bonus, Damo, in 2013 for the Hawks? They won the premiership, and I thought Sam Mitchell, amongst a heap of others, but an All-Australian, named on the half-back flank, and they changed his role again to sweep more across half-back. He had to deal with Ryan Crowley in the grand final, only managed to touch it 13 times, but that meant someone else didn't have to deal with Ryan Crowley. Yeah. Look at some of these kicking skills. They are as good as we've seen in recent times in the game. It's just a great... Look at that left-hand handball to Hodge running. You know, the amount of skill level, the don't argue, complete player, and really sets up the Hawks and gives opposition clubs a real headache every time they play. And
he's been good for 10 years, hasn't he? But he's past 3 years. I don't think there's been a better player when you throw in those 66 home and away matches of the past 3 years than Sam Mitchell. So I've gone for a bloke that I'm still staggered you couldn't find room for in the All-Australian team. But Josh Gibson, been really, really, really good since he left North Melbourne and is actually somehow getting better. He just does his role every single week. I mean, there's times you look at him and think he's a bit undermanned or undersized or a bit slow for a particular opponent. It doesn't matter. You assess the game at the end of the game and you think, well, he's held his own at the very least, and quite often, and more often than not, he actually wins that particular role. He's desperate too, Darcy. And look, he's a show pony off the ground and we love him for that too, but when it comes to the actual confines of the game itself, he's as tough as they come.
Yeah, trains hard and performs really well, Josh Gibson, every week. Who is on the chopping block, Damo, in 2013 for the Hawks, and never an easy thing to do. But Xavier Ellis, a top 3 draft pick, won a premiership in 2008, can't find his way back into the side, and I think sometimes that's the writing on the wall, and maybe Xavier needs a bit of a restart somewhere else.
Yep. Don't shoot me down when I say Brad Sewell is the person I'm putting up here, It's only because he's turning 30 next year. It's not going to get easier for him. He went through a tough patch during the year. He got dropped and fought his way back in really courageously, as you'd expect him to do, and was good then once he got back in. Look, he could easily play again next year, but he's just probably in a situation he might just want to explore options. It might be hard for him to do that, but I just think it's going to get harder rather than easier for him, and it could be something that he's just going to give consideration to.
He's the one we mention every time, and then he stands up and performs. He was great in the grand final. Again, not an easy call, that one. Where do they improve? In 2014, the Hawks, I think they need to find a way to manage Jarryd to the point where he can play 22 home and away games at full capacity and have the impact on games that we all hope he can. The hamstring injuries absolutely have restricted him. Yep. I don't know whether there's some sort of overseas medical intervention they can do, but a fully fit Jarryd has 5 great years of footy is just an enormous upside for a club that's going as well as they are.
Yep. To me, it's the rucking stock. So they did really well this year with Hale particularly, and Bailey playing a great role. But there's worries about Bailey, longevity, and we know he's the one who gets subbed off most likely in games. Sam Grimley's coming through to us, but if Buddy goes, as we expect him to, they'll make a good, sizable play and a proper play for Shane Mumford. So they're already thinking about that. And I just reckon that's the area where they'll just want to keep on top of, because I think going into 2014 with Hale and Bailey as your main options there, it just might leave them vulnerable at come September next year if Bailey's still being asked to do what he did this year.
Is the Hawks premiership window still open, Damo? Where do you think they will finish in 2014?
It's funny, isn't it? When you win one, you always say it's open. And because this time last year I thought they'd lost their chance to get a second premiership out of this year. Yeah, I'm saying it is. They'll be right up there again next year, and there's almost no doubt about that in my mind right now.
Yeah, we'll expect Buddy to move on. Injury aside, if they are anywhere near healthy, they've got great players to replace the ones that are going to move on, and I think they'll be right up amongst the top 4 again. Thank you, Damo. That has been the wash-up for the Hawks in season 2013.